A UFO in Lumberton, North Carolina, by Charles Lear. It is often the case with UFO investigators that once they get to an area where a UFO has been reported, the UFO is long gone and all they can do is interview witnesses. This is important as a means of creating a record of the case that can be referred to by future investigators and researchers. But occasionally, an investigator gets the chance to be a witness and actually observe what had been reported. This happened to investigator Lee Speigel, who was looking into a series of sightings by as many as 30 police officers and 50 civilians in Lumberton, North Carolina in 1975. Spiegel submitted a report on the case to the director of the Center for UFO Studies and former Project Blue Book scientific consultant J. Allen Hynek. The case file resides in the archives housed by David Marler in New Mexico. Along with Spiegel's report and contemporary newspaper clippings, there is also a series of paper slips in the file folder containing call information, presumably filled out at a QFOS UFO call center. If anyone can confirm this, please comment. According to Spiegel's report, a violent thunderstorm in the area ended at 1:35 a.m. on April 3, 1975. A call slip in the case file has the information that at 1:45 a.m., Sheriff Ron Thompson was monitoring the radio while working as a dispatcher at the Robeson County Sheriff's Office in Lumberton when the first report of a strange object came in. It was seen by Robeson County officer Phil Stanton and then by 2 officers from St. Paul. All 3 described the object as V-shaped with red, blue, and clear lights. A slip with 5:15 a.m. filled in for the time has the information that 2 Sampson County officers saw a similar object that put a spotlight on them as it moved off. One of the officers clocked it at 200 miles per hour. It appears that there was a full-fledged flap after 10 p.m. that night because a slip with 10:15 to 10:30 p.m. filled in for the time has the information on the back that officers from 4 different police departments and 50 citizens reported seeing something. According to Spiegel's report, Thompson called QFOS to let them know about the sightings. Thompson said that he didn't share the descriptions of the object with any other officers and was amazed by the similarities between all the reports. On the evening of April 3rd, a report was sent out over the UPI newswire which caught the attention of someone at the National Star. Spiegel was asked if he would be willing to fly to Lumberton with one of the reporters and cover the situation firsthand. Spiegel discussed the matter with Hynek and then headed for Lumberton, seriously wondering what it was that made so many law enforcement people begin to believe in UFOs. Spiegel wrote that he surveyed the area from the air as he was landing and saw it consisted of forests, swamps, lakes, canals, and that the Atlantic Ocean was to the east. He was determined to find a logical explanation for what were reports from credible and reliable witnesses. He got to the Robeson County Sheriff's Office on April 4th at 9:15 p.m., and there were reports coming into the dispatcher at that time from citizens and police officers. A statement from the title page of the report informs the reader that the material is taken directly from taped interviews of witnesses involved, and there are witness reports and quotes throughout. A common description was of a bright light in the front of the object that would light up the area underneath it, and one witness said it got so bright that he had to look away. One report was of the object lighting up the woods like they were on fire, and then rising up to 300 feet and taking off to the east real fast. Spiegel investigated the area and saw no evidence of a landing. All of the witnesses described hearing no noise from the object, except one who said it made a shh type of noise when it turned. Descriptions of the object's size range from the size of an average car to a twin-engine Cessna. It reportedly hovered for periods of up to 45 minutes. On several occasions, officers pursued the object. Ron Thompson reported that he was off-duty but on alert on Friday night after 9 p.m. when he spotted a craft and then chased it. He caught up with it, and it hovered above him. He got out of his car, reached into it, and blinked his headlights twice. According to him, the craft blinked its headlight twice in response. In addition to the light up front, Thompson noticed a light on the back as well. The craft moved off, and Thompson continued his pursuit until he lost it behind some trees. He said he got to within 100 yards of it, and that it was unlike any conventional man-made aircraft. Meanwhile, Spiegel was told by Robeson County Sheriff's Office Director of Communications, Jay Freeman, that an FAA official at Grannis Field in Fayetteville had offered the suggestion that the sightings on Thursday had been of a Boeing 737 during a series of training flights. As for the sightings on Friday, once the reports started coming in, no one had been able to contact the FAA official who had made the suggestion. Spiegel met up with Thompson in the hopes of seeing the object for himself. It was 10 p.m., and they drove through areas where sightings had been reported. They heard reports from other officers over the radio and moved towards the area. Then, at 11:54 p.m., they saw a large light that seemed to be approaching them as it increased in brightness. They stopped the car and heard no noise, but Spiegel notes that they were about 500 yards from it and might not have heard noise even if it was an aircraft. The light then turned red and started pulsating. Then Spiegel saw another red light on the other side of the road, moving in the same direction and pulsating at the same rate. Spiegel wrote that he still wasn't impressed or convinced. Then, at 1:30 a.m. on Saturday, as they were driving near Pembroke, they got a call over the radio that a V-shaped craft was headed in their direction. They soon saw a bright white light moving slowly, 15 to 20 feet above the trees, 500 to 600 feet away from them. They stopped and watched as the object moved slowly to the north, stopping and starting, never going more than 20 miles per hour. Freeman and reporter Paul Doherty joined them and verified that they were seeing the same thing. The car's engines and lights were off. The craft stopped and its light became intensely bright, reminding Spiegel of a magnesium flare. It hovered silently for over a minute. A car with 3 deputies had got to a good vantage point and radioed that they too were observing the craft. Then the craft turned completely red in the flash of an eye and began to pulsate. It moved slowly and haltingly to the south, and the observers watched it for around 6 minutes until it was gone from view. There were more sightings and more pursuits after that. In his report, Spiegel says he concluded that the object could not have been any type of airplane. It was very strange indeed. Despite the large number of police witnesses and civilian witnesses, this case has not received a great deal of attention. It lives in the memory of Ron Thompson, Lee Speigel, the many other witnesses, and in a file cabinet in New Mexico, waiting for researchers to tell its story.